How did a pop band spark Norway's rise to the top of the global EV sales charts? And can we really call a country that got rich from oil an environmental leader if it's just exporting its emissions to poorer countries? Let's drill into it and see what we discover. Imagine a country where the roads are full of electric cars, where the sheer noise and smoke replaced by the futuristic whir of electric motors. In a world where electric vehicles are the future, one country stands out from the rest. And this is not some future utopia. This is Norway. Today, in this small Scandinavian nation of 5 million people, over 80% of new cars sold are electric, an impressive number that's completely unmatched across the world. But how did this happen in a country known more for its fjords and oil production than for its technological advancement? And, as we'll discover later in the video, what are the real consequences of global electric vehicle adoption on other less developed nations? The movement originated from a very unlikely source. It's late 80s and Norwegian pop rock superstars a-ha are on top of the world, winning a Grammy and releasing massive hits such as Take On Me, as well as releasing the theme tune to the latest Bond movie. They collaborated with some environmental activists they had met at a Tour de Sol rally in Bern, Switzerland. They import a Fiat Panda that's been converted to run on electric power and go on a joyride that eventually makes Norway the EV capital of the world. As all self-respecting rock stars used to do, they start breaking the rules, parking it illegally, driving it in bus lanes and blowing through toll booths without paying. But this wasn't just some stars acting like entitled idiots. Their joyride had a purpose and a message. People should be allowed to buy electric cars, which wasn't possible in Norway at that time. They should be exempt from parking fees, road tolls and bus lane restrictions, have free ferry travel and pay zero tax. Their rule breaking became a viral sensation in Norway. They were the biggest pop stars Norway had ever produced, and their message became front page headlines all over the country. These stars had embarrassed the government and the country's EV revolution had begun. Within a year, the government started implementing the policies highlighted by the band. Once Norway was a relatively humble nation of fishermen, but on the 25th of October 1969, at a depth of over 3,000 metres, the Ekofisk oil field was discovered. This marked the beginning of Norway's transformation into an oil and gas giant. In the ensuing decades, Norway's oil and gas sector blossomed and the numbers are huge. As we enter 2024, Norway's average daily production is over 2 million barrels per day, making Norway the 8th largest global exporter of oil and 3rd largest exporter of gas. The economic impact of this production is monumental. In 2022, the production of oil and gas in Norway translated into an export value of a staggering $76 billion, accounting for 73% of Norway's total goods export value. Unlike many oil-rich nations, Norway handles these funds wisely. In 1995, they established the Sovereign Wealth Fund, known by many as the Oil Fund. While many oil-rich nations spend their black gold windfalls, Norway recognized that these revenues will not flow to them forever, and so they've established one of the world's biggest sovereign wealth funds, which currently stands at $1.1 trillion, second only to China's main sovereign fund. It's against this backdrop of massive revenue surplus that a-ha famously took the wheel of their Fiat. A year after their viral voyage, the Norwegian government got to work implementing many of the ideas highlighted by the band. Whilst many major countries have attempted to encourage EV purchases by offering subsidies that discount the purchase price, the reality is that in the majority of countries, EVs are still more expensive than a comparable internal combustion car. Norway has taken a different approach, some would say a braver, more politically challenging approach. It's incredible that this strategy was triggered by that joyride back in 1989. Not only did they revise their rules to allow the registration of EVs, they also exempted EVs from import and sales taxes, while simultaneously adding increasingly high taxes to traditionally fueled cars. In our modern world of political donors and lobbying by the oil and gas industry, this is something that required real commitment. They added more incentives over the coming years, constantly introducing reasons for the average consumer to buy electric. In '96, they made EV exempt from federal road tax. In '97, they eliminated tolls and made ferry travel to Norway's many islands free for drivers taking their EV. In '99, they added free public parking, and not long after that, they allowed EVs to avoid traffic congestion altogether by using bus lanes. These incentives are exponentially effective in a country that adds significant barriers to traditional vehicle ownership. For drivers of traditional cars, the costs are very high. Exorbitant 25% purchase taxes, high fuel taxation and high road toll costs mean that a car that costs $35,000 in the US can easily top $70,000 in Norway. Imagine a Norwegian family considering the next car purchase. The attraction isn't just the sleek design of an electric vehicle, blend of environmental consciousness and financial savvy. Choosing an EV means embracing a lifestyle that's both eco-friendly and economically sound. In Norway, an average EV owner enjoys significant annual savings compared to traditional car owners thanks to lower fuel costs, reduced maintenance and government incentives. EVs don't require oil changes, air filter changes or any other routine engine maintenance in the same way as a petrol or diesel engine. Fuel savings are a massive incentive for the average Norwegian. Due to Norway proactively ramping up the cost of running a traditional car through taxes on fuel, the cost per 100 miles for an average petrol car is $21.67 per 100 miles. For each 100 miles powered by electric, this is just $4.49. For a Norwegian driving an average of 12,000 miles a year, this is a saving of over $2,000 just on fuel. On economics alone, it's a compelling proposition that's hard to ignore. So what has been holding back greater adoption of EVs across the globe? It appears that Norway has shown the path. Well, there is one major reason. A quick Google search shows there are a large number of articles, and the most common answer, range anxiety. That sense of dread people feel that they may find themselves stranded in the wilderness before reaching their destination or a charge station. Norway has invested massively in expanding its charging network. There are now over 25,000 public charging stations throughout the country. This dense network ensures that an EV charger is never more than a short drive away. In Oslo alone, there is an average of one charger every 400 metres. This isn't just a story of urban success, it's a balanced strategy where rural areas are not left behind. In smaller towns and remote areas, the government has strategically placed fast charging stations, ensuring that long-distance travel by EV is as practical as it is in the city. On the major routes, the government has targeted a charge station every 46 kilometres, making it one of the most EV-friendly countries in the world. This accessibility and convenience ensures that every EV owner, whether in urban centres or rural areas, is supported, and consequently this removes range anxiety as one of the biggest barriers to purchase. Behind Norway's thriving EV infrastructure is a story of collaboration. Public-private partnerships have been pivotal, with the government and private companies joining forces to expand the charging network. These partnerships have not only accelerated the growth of charging stations, but have also driven innovation, leading to the development of ultra-fast chargers that can power an EV in record time. It's a synergy that exemplifies Norway's approach: collaborative, forward-thinking, and always pushing the rate of progress. Norway is not just building more chargers, it's also redefining the charging experience. The latest addition to its charging arsenal are ultra-fast chargers, capable of charging an EV battery to 80% in under 20 minutes. And of course, many people will continue to charge their vehicles while they sleep, with ultra-convenient fast chargers meeting most users' daily needs, thus allowing EV owners to charge their vehicles overnight, leveraging lower electricity rates. As user adoption is reaching critical mass, Norway is putting the final nail in the coffin of fossil-fueled vehicles by planning to ban sales of such cars from 2025 onwards. Whilst this doesn't appear to be definitively confirmed, it is very apparent that this will happen. Indeed, Volkswagen's Norwegian importers preempted the move and announced that only electric vehicles will be available to purchase from 2024 onwards. Of course, this transition to EV has a purpose. Norway's commitment to EVs goes beyond cost savings. Fundamentally, it's about reducing emissions, preserving the country's breathtaking natural landscapes and diverse wildlife. By curbing air pollution, EVs are helping to protect Norway's forests, fjords and the entire Arctic region, areas that are home to unique species and ecosystems. This transition is a promise to future generations, a commitment to safeguarding Norway's natural heritage and beauty. Norway's efforts in adopting EVs resonate far beyond its borders. By setting an example in EV adoption, Norway is contributing to global climate goals, particularly the Paris Agreement's objectives. This small nation's bold steps are a call to the world, demonstrating that transition into a low-carbon economy is not just possible but also beneficial. Norway's journey is a blueprint for others, proving that determined action can lead to significant environmental progress. But wait, is this really all such a perfect tale where everyone's a winner? Not quite. There are some things we should discuss. Battery production, the heartbeat of EVs, carries its own environmental and ethical burdens. The extraction of lithium, for instance, requires vast amounts of water, approximately 500,000 gallons per ton of lithium. In countries like Chile, this has led to water shortages for local communities. Moreover, cobalt mining, predominantly in the Democratic Republic of Congo, has been marred by reports of child labour and hazardous working conditions. These raw materials fuel Norway's EVs, casting a long shadow over their green image. While EVs run clean on Norway's roads, their production tells a different story. Manufacturing an EV can emit up to twice as much CO2 as producing a conventional car, according to some studies, largely due to the energy-intensive process of creating their batteries. In a global context, where electricity generation still heavily relies on fossil fuels, the actual environmental benefits of EVs becomes murky. It's a complex equation challenging Norway's narrative of EVs as a straightforward solution to climate change. Norway's surge in EV popularity also stokes a global fire for raw materials. The increased demand for lithium, for example, is expected to rise fivefold by 2025. Their rush is not without consequences. As it fuels mining activities with significant environmental footprints, the irony is palpable. A green initiative in Norway potentially contributing to environmental degradation elsewhere. It's a global dilemma where the pursuit of green technology in one nation can inadvertently echo environmental challenges in another. So it's clear there are some major challenges ahead for policymakers and engineers alike as the globe moves away from finite fossil fuels. Norway's vision for the future is clear. Fully electric vehicle landscape. The government's target is ambitious. By 2025, they aim for all new cars sold to be zero emission. Innovation is the heartbeat of Norway's EV sector, with groundbreaking developments on the horizon. One key area is in the advancement in solid-state battery technology, led by Norwegian research initiatives like SINTEF, aiming to dramatically reduce charging times and increase battery lifespan. Further initiatives are underway to integrate wireless charging infrastructure, transforming parking spaces across cities into convenient charging points. Its pioneering role in EV adoption is not just reshaping its own landscape, but also influencing global trends. As a model for early adoption, Norway's strategies and infrastructure developments are being closely studied by countries like the Netherlands and Canada, who are seeking to replicate similar successes. Norway's collaboration with the European Union on EV policies and infrastructure standards is also contributing to a more cohesive approach to electric mobility across Europe. One notable collaboration is with Germany, focusing on the development of more efficient and eco-friendly battery technologies. Norway is also a key player in the International Zero Emission Vehicle Alliance, working alongside countries like the United States and the United Kingdom to share insights and foster international cooperation in EV adoption. These partnerships are crucial in addressing shared challenges, from battery recycling to global supply chain sustainability, and underscore Norway's commitment to a collective effort in advancing electric mobility worldwide. As nations worldwide grapple with the challenges of climate change and sustainable transportation, Norway stands as a beacon, a living case study of successful EV adoption. Countries like South Korea are examining Norway's tax incentives and charging infrastructure as a template for their own EV policies. Moreover, Norway's approach to rural EV accessibility is being closely studied by countries with similar geographical challenges like New Zealand, looking to ensure that remote areas are not left behind in the EV transition. Norway's journey offers valuable insights, but how does it translate to larger, more diverse economies? This is a question at the heart of many discussions in places like the United States and China. These countries are observing how Norway balances EV incentives with broader economic impact, particularly in terms of supporting local automotive industries. For instance, China is drawing lessons from Norway's handling of EV subsidies to avoid market distortion, whilst encouraging EV adoption amongst its vast population. Norway's embrace of EVs has sent ripples across the global automotive market. The surge in demand for electric cars in Norway has encouraged manufacturers worldwide to accelerate their EV production. Leading auto manufacturers in Japan and Germany are ramping up their EV offerings and production, influenced by the market trends set by early adopter nations like Norway. Norway's aggressive push towards EVs is more than a national endeavour. It's a vital piece of the puzzle in achieving international climate goals. By drastically reducing transportation emissions, Norway is contributing significantly to the global effort to limit temperature rise, as outlined in the Paris Agreement. The country's commitment to EVs demonstrates a model of how individual nations' actions can have a profound impact on the global fight against climate change. This heralds a new era in transportation. This transition is not just about cleaner air or quieter streets, it's a transformative movement with far-reaching implications. It challenges the world to rethink its dependence on fossil fuels, to reimagine urban infrastructure, and to reinvent the automotive industry. Norway's journey is a guiding light, showing that with concerted effort and strategic policymaking, a sustainable electric future is within reach. Researching this video has been an eye-opener in showing what is possible with the right set of policies, investment, and of course, a famous rock band to show the way.